Hey everyone. If you are not having fun while you are podcasting, whether you're a guest or a host, then I'm sorry, my friend, but you are doing it wrong. I am actually inspired today by a friend of mine, Melanie Benson, who did a podcast episode on why fun or how fun affects your prosperity and abundance. And so I was inspired to talk about bringing fun into podcasting. Again, like whether you're having fun or not, it affects the results, it affects the energy that you have and what you bring to the table and your personality. And yes, it's fun to chat to other people, whether you're a guest or a host, but you can actually bring fun into your podcasting in more than one way. So I'm going to touch upon those today. The first thing you can do to weave more fun into your podcast is tweaking with the format. I know a lot of people that are doing solo episodes, and it can feel kind of boring and feel kind of lonely when you're just like, it's me and the camera, man. I'm looking at myself in the mirror here, and I could be having a lot more fun. But they are good to have those episodes to share your expertise and be known as an authority out there. However, don't feel like you can't just change the format. You do not have to have every episode be solo. You can mix it up. So why not bring on a guest and interview them? Or I tend to think of it more as having a conversation and getting to know someone on air and getting to learn from them as well and help your audience at the same time. You could also bring on a co host, maybe not for the whole season or all of your episodes, but you could do that every now and then. I actually relaunched a new podcast a couple of years ago when I was doing some more work for the real estate investing industry. And I didn't want to do solos, and I just kind of got burnt out with doing interviews, to be quite honest. And so I invited my friend Aaron, who's copywriter, who's in the real estate investing industry. And I said, hey, why don't we co-host a show? Because he is like my brother from another mother. And we have so much fun and we always have good laughs. He has such great energy. And so we did a season of those episodes. And of course, we got to like chat beforehand, chat afterwards. So I totally looked forward to when we recorded those episodes. It was such a blast. You can also consider doing a live show. Again, you don't have to be married to something and do it long term. You could do it once a month. You could just do it when the mood strikes. But if you are the type of person that feeds off of other people's energy, you love the comments that people are making on the live shows, you love that element of engagement, having those funny, conversations, the banter back and forth, then maybe live shows would be a great thing to weave into your marketing. A number, God, feels like a lifetime ago, honestly. I ended up doing a live show with a friend of mine whose name was also Lindsay. And we did a live show on Facebook called Marketing and Merlot. And yes, we drank Merlot. We had wine. So we're like, hey, let's do it in the evening. It was 6 o'clock her time, 9 o'clock mine. And literally, we both had a glass of wine and we, had a rough topic and we just bantered. We had a few laughs. It was live. So we were able to kind of get the chit chat and comments from other people. And I looked forward to it because I could hang out with a friend and drink wine. So just another fun way of creating content and putting yourself out there and growing your authority. You could also create like a panel type discussion. So you don't just have to have one person on the show. You could actually have a bunch of people on the show and just have that loose conversation. Hey, here's the topic, and just banter back and forth. It's fun for the audience to kind of like listen in on a group conversation. And what a great way to hang out with other entrepreneurs, other experts, or friends and banter about some of your favorite topics. Now, when it comes to, the ongoing format of your show, you can even change the music. I've even seen podcast shows where they start off, not having like the intro, having the music, but actually there's music throughout the show. So I could be playing music right now. I could even add in like video montages or other little audio snippets. You can do it during, or you can edit it in afterwards. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's Deirdre Shen of Cap Show. I can't think of the name of her podcast. I should have looked it up. But she has so much fun injected in her podcast. She has these little montages and clips, and so creative. So don't be afraid to bring your creative juices to the table where it comes to your podcasting. I mean, you could even, have a fun virtual background. You could ask your guest completely unrelated questions that are like, whether you have a speed round at the end, or like, if you were an animal, what would you be? Or what kind of book are you reading right now? Or what favorite show are you binging? So just things that are like not necessarily business oriented, but bring your personality and bring the guest's personality into the episode. Now, it's not just all about you, sorry to say, but you also want to make it fun for the audience, right? So how can you do that? Now, you can create more engagement into the show by having the audience ask questions. So whether they call in on a live show, whether they comment on Facebook, whether they leave voice messages using Pod Inbox. Side note, I actually interviewed the owner. It's a really cool app. You can invite members of your audience onto your show. If they have questions about your topic or your industry, why not bring them on? How fun is that for them to be in the episode, or even have their question featured in the episode? So it's just a fun way to kind of like get that interaction with the audience, right? Don't forget to tell stories on your episodes, whether it's yourself or hopefully your guest can kind of weave that in. People love hearing stories. It's something that they can picture versus just like these how-to kind of elements of your show. People want to connect with other people. You can even create a contest and weave contests into your podcast. So right now, if I said, email me here or go to this page and enter this contest, it just kind of helps to kind of like gamify and kind of, just make it more interesting, make it more fun. Or, they could win like a gift certificate or win, who knows what, a car. I will not be doing that. But you can find different elements of engaging the audience and making it fun for them. Now, here is an important aspect to think about that I think podcasters and business owners in general tend to put to the wayside. And that is knowing yourself and knowing your limits and working with that. And I'll give some examples in a minute. But the baseline here is that you want to keep your energy high and you want to have a smile on your face. You don't want to be burnt out, and you still want to look like you're enjoying what you're doing, talking to your audience and talking to your guest. So here's what I do. I do not schedule podcast interviews on Mondays and Fridays because I find on Mondays, I've just got like too much on my mind. I got to prioritize the week, divvy out the projects to my team. I have my own stuff to work on, some client stuff to work on. So for me, if I recorded episodes on Monday, I would be a stress puppy. And honestly, I don't want to dress up and do my hair on Mondays. Truth. And on Fridays, I want to work on my own business and wind things down. So that's how I work best. So kind of like knowing what is better for you. And for me as well, if I did interviews all in the same day, my voice I know it sounds horrible right now. It's because I've been sick a couple of weeks and I still have the raspy voice. But if I did 4 recordings in one day, I would be exhausted. My voice would be kind of, my body language would probably be down. My voice would be down. It just wouldn't come off with good results. So making sure you know your limitations. Whereas honestly, some people, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they're like, hey, I need to have a day where I'm like, I'm on air, my hair is done, I've got the energy, I've got a good momentum going, chatting to people, got a good rhythm in my voice, feeding off of other people's energy. Maybe that's how they work best. So it's just knowing what's best for you and your own habits and your own self care. And also, you could even, record with coffee, with a glass of Merlot, depending on your podcast. But some people like having treats, right? Like if you're like, ooh, my favorite latte or chai tea or whatever it is, if I drink it while I'm recording my podcast, it's kind of like a little reward. I'm getting caffeine to perk me up. And then you've also got like the hand movements, and it just makes it feel like someone's actually having a conversation with you versus just like sitting still and being, stiff. So it might kind of give you that prop to kind of bring that energy and give yourself a treat while you're at it, whatever your poison is. So just different ways of looking at how you can perform better and how you're going to enjoy the experience that much more versus being burnt out and versus being stressed out, right? Or preoccupied. Now, believe it or not, you can actually have fun with the process of podcasting. Some people like the process more than others. Totally get it. But if you're doing parts of the podcasting process, so the promotion or the production or the onboarding, any of those moving pieces, if you're doing things that you hate doing, you're going to dread it. You're going to burn out, and your energy and how you show up is totally going to be affected. So for me, I hate editing. I hate video editing. I hate audio editing. I hate any of it. And so I don't do it, or I would be miserable. My team does it for me. But I do love creating graphics. Not that I like to get stuck in the weeds. And I am a little bit of a control freak when it comes to the social media posts for my podcast. Sorry, I'm going to admit that. But I do enjoy writing out that copy and pulling out those points that I found impactful and also putting my own voice and perspective into it. And I do enjoy making graphics. So I spend maybe an hour a week, if that, and bang that out myself. And I do those on Thursday afternoons. And that's just a part of my schedule. And that's what works for me. And I find that part fun. And if there are parts of it that you don't like doing, outsource it. Find someone on your team that can do it for you. Or again, find an agency or a company that focuses on podcasting. The other tip I have is batch tasking. I know for me, if I'm proofing material for my clients or reviewing what my team does, if I do that 3 times a week, I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. But if I batch and I'm like, okay, 2 hours every 2 weeks, I'm going to like bang all this stuff out, then I'm in the zone, it's done, and I feel good. That works best for me. And I know a lot of podcasters like to batch record. So if you're doing solo episodes, it might be better for you to batch record 1 day a month. And then you got the rest of the month to do whatever it is you want to work on. If you are recording, if you love recording and you're like, hey, I want to weave that into my day on a weekly basis, then record every Friday. And that's kind of like how you end your week. Again, it's just figuring out what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, and how you can schedule and structure your day and your week and your month so that you are bringing more fun into the process, then do it. The other one is to automate more pieces. So, using a scheduler, for instance, can help you communicate with the guest, get all those moving pieces like their bio, their headshot, and all those different things ahead of time. And you don't even have to do anything. You don't have to touch anything. It's all done for you and automated. So, if there are pieces in the process that you can automate, do it. I know it makes me very happy. And we have tools as well to help automate the repurposing of the content afterwards. So we create reels and video clips and audiograms and get transcripts. So we have different softwares and pieces that help make that more efficient, make it easier. And for me, if it makes it easier, it makes life better. So it brings more fun back into the podcasting so I can focus on the pieces that I do like, right? I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of those pieces of software. One of them is repurpose.io for repurposing content. There is also Capshow that helps create social media text from audio. There is lately.ai, which helps you create more content from long form pieces of content. I mean, there are a ton of tools out there, so why not use them to your advantage? So, yes. So, this was a fun episode talking about fun instead of, nitty gritty and technical aspects of podcasting. So, I hope that helps inspire you to automate, to look at your limits and knowing what works best for your personality so that you can bring that fun and energy, thinking about the audience and how you can bring more fun for them. And then also how to change the format so that you don't get burnt out and you do what is enjoyable and fun for you. And not only will you avoid podfade, but you will have a more enjoyable day. So go off, have some fun, and I'll see you on another episode.